time for the Daily Detangler. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've learned in communicating concepts. To do that, taking a moment here and pausing on this idea of communication and what I'm seeing there and what I'm learning. Also, what's worked, and time is money. Communication, to me, is a direct correlation to our value contribution and impact as a team, and certainly in my role as detangler. So when there's a lot going on, it can be overwhelming for me. I don't know about you, but there's so much volume of things that come in, whether it's new concepts or words on the website or videos. Even this daily detangler is yet another thing to consume and to hear. Then you think about just the complexity of tackling a go to customer message in a pharmaceutical industry or cybersecurity, and the conversations that we have to get ready for, right? Without none of these would happen without the idea of communication. And my own self, I've recognized through the work that we've been doing that I need to put the time in to get my communication better. I need to put my leverage what I'm learning to do the best job I can at communicating. So, one of the things that I've learned is, I have an idea, and here's what I learned. These are openings for observations and possibilities. And on our team, we want those ideas and we want those observations, and we have a lot of learning. And how do we create an environment where that's supported, and then allow it to grow, especially as we innovate and it's not clear on how we're going to build something or what it actually is. And then also creating a path forward, right, requires communication. So what I've seen is, for me, it's difficult because if somebody has an idea and shares what they learned, then I have a tendency to, here's what I know too, and let me pile on that or shit on them, right? And for a year and a half, I've been saying, okay, I need to suspend that. So what do I replace it with? And I've been trying to untangle myself to suspend that knee-jerk reaction. That's the business world. This is the go-to-market response to these things, is to pile on and to fix it and shit on them. But when you take everybody doing that in a group setting, for example, it can get into a jumbled mess really quickly, and it's really hard to make progress. So what I've learned is using the communication model. So we have this communication model on the scientific method site, and just spending some time with it, right? I know it's easy for me to say, well, that's a scientific model, and we're in a digital economy. Well, that's actually what I said is I definitely need to go back and revisit that, because we are in a digital economy, and because this is about information flow, and I'm having an information node challenge, back to the orchestration orb, and information is directly related to communication and what is exchanged. So I've got this simple model. There's a sender and there's a receiver, and what do I do in the channel, right? The email channel. There's so much email. It takes a long time for me to figure stuff out, and I have a lot of inboxes. And then what kind of feedback am I providing, right? So just thinking about this simple view is important. And then I realized that through the work that we do, that if I'm going to send something, like if I say, hey, I want to send a message, let me put this pink dot together. Well, putting that pink dot together is important, because if I don't put it together well, it's going to go off into the ether. And I've certainly done that, where I perhaps didn't structure the pink dot into a circle, or I wasn't clear on it was pink, or I wasn't clear on why I was sending it when I was sending it. And that can create confusion. So just thinking about that and structuring up nuggets and trying to make them accessible has been something that I think has been, help me work through this to get a little bit better. And then thinking about, okay, I need to send it, and yay, the person read it. Well, it doesn't end there, right? Like there's this, well, what did you hear? Well, thanks for sending the yellow triangle over. Oops. Well, what, or you know what? I'm curious, right? I could say, oops, my pink circle sucked, or I could say, I'm curious. What are you seeing with that yellow triangle? I thought it was a pink circle. And I can learn a lot there. And that's an opportunity in our environment to advance shared understanding. And we're humans, and that's probably going to happen. Just because I think it's a pink circle doesn't mean it's going to be received that way. And that's the communication model. And that's something that I need to plan for. That's definitely going to happen. Is it on them? Should I get frustrated? No, I should get curious. This is why curiosity has been illuminating for me. So what have I learned in that regard is this idea of communication is, how do I synchronize, right? So we have a lot of people on the team, but this idea of communication as a way to synchronize, what does that look like? What does that look like? And we've used the band analogy a lot in our communication, though. I wanted to, for example, put out a detangler because we're talking more about language right now. And so I wanted to synchronize up with that to say, what have I learned about communication? And also I need to simplify, right? I've sent giant tomes of information that's unstructured and put the burden on the receiver. And that's not good in a highly complex, volatile, and uncertain world that we live in. I need to think more about the receiver and structure it up in a way that's simple. And then leaning into the support that we have. I don't have to be perfect in creating my pink circle, so to speak. But if I do the work and I put it out there, then others will recognize it. If I don't do the work and I just float it out there, the system and my peers, you guys will respond accordingly. So the more I put in and the more I ask for help, the more it comes back, and the faster the communication gets, which is cool. We've also developed the tool, right? The scope cube tool, or the checklist that Catalyst asked us to put together. And at first I took that as an exercise in catalyst thinking. But now I realize it's more of a tool, and I struggle with these answers to a lot of these questions, and I'm starting to use these more and more as I try to structure up communication. I use this as a concept for building, for example, the daily detanglers. And so that's something for me to think about, is these are not just activities, these are actions. This action of structuring up and encoding what I send over helps me be more clear, because time is money. And if I can put the structure in, we together we can tackle complex challenges. And part of me feels like I'm left, I'm in a doing a micro thing. I'm doing something that I'm not tackling a pharma message in what I'm doing most of the time, but the recognition that these types of actions that I do are helpful to Catalyst because of the complexity that he's dealing with, right? That's the key here, is adding that kind of value and using my time wisely. I was curious about if others were experiencing this type of learning where there's a choice or a trade-off that needs to be made, and they're faced with, I need to learn a lot, but there's COVID and there's complexity and VUCA world going on. So I ran a survey and asked, and one of the questions I asked in there was, what makes learning more difficult today? And if you look at these answers, too many distractions. Yep, that's me. No time to think, feels like it. Very little patience from others. And when I look at the top three, I was like, I'm thankful for this team, right? I recognize that our team is set up to provide these things. The distractions piece is more on me. I think that's more of my choice, right? Like, and how I run my own life, and what I choose to do with my time. So outside of that, but finding time to think, I mean, that's been set up here on the team. Finding the patience. If you look at the how much patience we all have and how we show up to each other, I'm thankful for that patience. uh, I've been in environments where that's not the case, and it's just really hard to learn. And then developing a process to learn together, that's in here. Over here on the right, no process to learn together. I didn't think that was going to get many responses, but people answered it, and I'm thankful we have a process too. And that's why this is principle 4 for me. Principle 4: trust the process, lean into the process, think about these things that Catalyst is bringing up, and then also revisit them. I was listening to the conundrum on discipline, and hearing that now, after what I've learned, it reveals new things to me. So part of the takeaway for me is to revisit those things and trust the process and engage with principle number 4. And by doing that, I want to add a pebble. So I'm trying to add a pebble with the daily detangler. I encourage you to add a pebble across our change bridge. Change happens one conversation at a time, and structuring up the conversation and structuring up the communication, it's a two-way approach, right? Don't discount that, as I have in the past, of not putting the work in on sending, and then also recognize good sending. Catalyst is a great sender and encoder of information. So that's a great model to look at. So I appreciate your time in the Daily Detangler today. Thanks for the extra 2 minutes. As always, check out dailydetangler.com. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.